At long last, one of the most sought-after remasters of a horror classic is finally available on 4K thanks to Grub and Shout Factory. Wait, what? Really? Okay. Thanks to Grub and Shout Studios. I gotta get used to that name. It just doesn't sound right to me yet. Fans have been screaming for Day of the Dead to get the 4K treatment for some time now, and it's taken a long time, but we finally got it in hand. Here we go. Let's check it out. I guess it's the day horror fans have been waiting for. With indie films like Backrooms and Obsession making history at the box office the past few weeks, showing Hollywood that indie filmmakers do it better, we mustn't forget one of the original trailblazers of indie horror, the late great George A. Romero. Legend. And while Hollywood continues to force corporate slop on us every week and then wonders why no one goes to see their movies, indie filmmakers like Kane Parsons and Curry Barker, and in this case George A. Romero, remind us why small budgets, no-name casting with an emphasis on characterization and storytelling can still win the hearts of moviegoers, especially in the horror genre. Such is true about Romero's 1985 film Day of the Dead, a film with a troubled production even after the success of Night and Dawn of the Dead, the two previous entries in his zombie trilogy. What used to be considered the weakest in the Romero zombie trilogy has now grown its fan base over the years, and now they even have their own action figures thanks to Trick or Treat Studios.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
Anchor Bay. God, Anchor Bay. Do you remember Anchor Bay? They really were the best back in the old DVD days. They just released some of the best horror movies on DVD back in the day. Comment below if you remember Anchor Bay! Anchor Bay and Shout Factory, Scream Factory, Shout Studios had previously released Blu-rays of Day of the Dead, and while they were serviceable at the time, new technology and fan expectations have escalated, and the fans, including myself, have been screaming for a 4K of this for some time now. Then out of nowhere, we get the announcement, and now that I have it in hand, how's it stack up against the others? Let's find out.
Let's find out.
Scream Factory, or Shout Studios, have released Day of the Dead on 4K and Blu-ray in Dolby Vision and HDR10 in a 185:1 aspect ratio, sourced from an interpositive, and with a whole bunch of audio options, which you'll be hearing a whole lot about during this review, especially the Laserdisc 2.0 audio track.
Trust me.
Not to mention a 2.0 music and effects track that are great for those late night study sessions or when you're trying to go to sleep. Day of the Dead is a drab, dirty, disgusting looking film, but Shout Factory has managed to give it an overhaul in the presentation department. Colors are more vibrant, but only when colors are allowed to shine, as Day of the Dead is supposed to be mostly unappealing visually. But the little color we get, things like the reds and blues in the caves near the end of the film, have definitely received a boost here. Overall clarity and shadow detail have been improved over the previous Blu-ray releases. Gone is the drab teal tint that plagued the previous releases of this. This looks and feels accurate to the original source. The color timing is much more in line with the VHS rip of Day of the Dead on Tubi. Yeah, I said it, on Tubi, a streaming service. Yeah, they have a VHS rip on there. You should check it out.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Not that VHS transfers, let alone one from a free streaming service, are a good barometer for how a film is supposed to look, but they're definitely worth looking into when you're going down the whole screenshot rabbit hole.
So what? So fucking what?
Day does look a little bit softer, but that's because the transfer is coming from an interpositive, and that's okay. It's not a deal breaker for me. It still looks fine. Grub Factory's release of Day of the Dead gives it a very filmic look with a light but healthy layer of grain that shouldn't piss off the grain haters, and if they do raise a fuss, they're exaggerating. There's also some exaggeration regarding the audio on this disc, but that's also totally warranted, but more on that in just a second.
Oh, no, no.
What?
No.
I'll spin it for you quick. The Dolby Atmos track seemed to be lacking in oomph, especially when it came to the dialogue. The dialogue was low, and all the effects were very high. Like me. The 5.1 was just okay, I guess. The 2.0 really had the oomph that I really expected from this track, but...
Let's talk about your big butt.
Now here's where it gets really interesting. Apparently, all of the audio tracks are the censored versions, except the 2.0 Laserdisc audio track. Well, kind of, sort of, I guess. To explain, there are a handful of lines throughout this film that have been redubbed over the years, and a lot of purists consider that evil.
Evil?
Yeah, evil. That 5 or 6 lines would be redubbed. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan of not censoring art. I want it to be left alone, uncensored, untouched, unaltered. I'm looking at you, George Lucas, and David Fincher, and Michael Mann, all you revisionist rascals, you. So when Day of the Dead came to Blu-ray from Anchor Bay and Shout Factory later on, they both had the original mono with all the correct lines, but they all had sibilants throughout, thus ruining the mysticism of the film with an obnoxious hiss. And for this edition, the only audio track that has those original dubbing lines intact is the 2.0 Laserdisc audio track. Now that track is great if you want to hear the original audio, but it sounds a little tinny and especially tiny when compared to the boost of the 2.0 track that I think is actually mostly kind of great. Well, other than not being the actual original 2.0 mono, but that's beside the point. And along with that, the Dolby Atmos track is a down mix, and that's a bit of a downer. Basically, the audio is just fine, I guess.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I mean, if you're just looking to watch the film casually and you don't really care about the overdubbing of the lines, then you won't notice the missing cues. But if you're that hardcore audiophile, autistic, anal retentive kind of collector who wants the original audio, you might want to hold out a little longer. Because apparently the imported Blu-ray from Umbrella has all the audio goods you could ever want, and there's also the possibility of an upcoming second sight release of Day of the Dead that may or may not have the correct audio. Time will tell. Let's get on to the bonus features, because just like a Blu-ray.com forum, we could talk about this forever.
Forever.
There are also a ton of bonus features that I won't go through, but I will say that the Roger Avery commentary that was on the old Anchor Bay and Shout Factory Blu-ray is now absent from this. I'm wondering if that's just a rights issue, or maybe it's more political in nature, thereby making it a lefts issue.
Hardy fucking hard.
Shout has released Day of the Dead in this sexy hard box with 2 Amaray cases, the first being the film with Blu-ray and 4K only. There you go. Here's some artwork inside that I don't know why they do this. Here's the back. And then on this one, you have the documentary on one disc and the Blu-ray bonus features on the other. Now see, this actually has Bub on there. That makes some sense, and it's centered and it looks fine. And here's the back of this one. This also ports over all of the other bonus features from that Shout Factory Blu-ray, minus the Roger Avery commentary. I think there's something else missing too, I can't remember. You also get lobby cards that I'm never gonna look at again. In fact, I'm not sure how to get these out of here without ruining this yellow. I mean, this thing is on here good. So I may never look at these ever. Thanks, Shout Factory. Should you go run and tell your Aunt Alicia that this is the release of Day of the Dead that she needs to buy? Maybe.
Possibly.
If you feel let down by Shout's choice not to include the actual original mono, then yeah, maybe you should wait. If you're feeling adventurous and you want to explore the Atmos for yourself, or the 5.1 or the 2.0, or hell, even that fun Laserdisc 2.0 audio track, then yeah, maybe check this one out. But keep in mind that all those audio tracks are missing those 5 or 6 very crucial lines to the film. Of course, I understand wanting the original lines, but being that that's not something we've really gotten without, well, problems like the sibilants, hey, I mean, you know, you could do a lot worse. Or you could wait for Second Sight to release their 4K, but they like to take their time and really put a lot of effort into their releases, so there's really no telling when that release is going to hit shelves or the internet for pre-order. I'm just happy that we now have the entire George A. Romero zombie trilogy in glorious 4K. And we have Land of the Dead on 4K, which is vastly underrated. Fight me. And came from a lot of the scrapped ideas from Day of the Dead. I also have to highly recommend Second Sight's 4K of Dawn of the Dead. Now this UK edition comes with the films on 4K in 3 different cuts. However, there's like one bonus disc that's a Blu-ray that won't play on your American player unless you're region free. But if you have a 4K player, all the films will play and they're glorious.
Glorious.
And word around the campfire is Second Sight is also getting the rights to Day of the Dead on 4K. Now we have yet to see what kind of audio they're going to use for that, but if you're a purist, you might want to pay attention to the news. Hey, are we almost done yet? Because I'm getting real tired of holding this.
Oh, that's what she said.
It's funny how physical media, while so timeless and absolute, can also feel so tangible in that one edition is usually good enough just for now. Like, I'll keep you and love you until something better comes along, that is. With every new physical media release of a classic film, I hope it broadens the net of the amount of people who get to see it and are exposed to it. Now I may joke a lot in these videos about millennials or Gen Z or Gen Alpha, but the truth is, they're the ones who are going to have to keep physical media alive after all of us olds die off.
Bang! You're dead!
Think about that. I mean, we got to keep them interested in this stuff so they don't just donate or throw out our expensive, gigantic collections once we're all gone. Fuck, that's depressing. All of our curated collections ending up in some landfill?
And they got the negative for all your favorite movies.
All those thick boy Arrow boxes, all those Criterions and A24 box sets, steel books and slip covers, getting dumped next to someone's rotted, putrid garbage from yesterday, eventually being pressed down into nothing but a thin layer of cardboard and plastic that lines the landfill floor for decades upon decades upon decades. But seriously, since many of you millennials, Gen Z, and Gen Alphas or whatever went and saw Backrooms and Obsession, you better get out there and watch some George A. Romero movies because he's the OG of indie horror, and guys like Curry Barker and Kane Parsons, I keep wanting to say hotter, wouldn't be here if it weren't for him. So Day of the Dead on 4K from Shout Factory comes, well, recommended. Until something better comes along. Don't listen to the internet trolls. Go ahead, pick it up, see for yourself. And if you're a Flight of the Navigator fan, you'll be pleased to know that Richard Liberty, Dr. Frankenstein, makes a quick little appearance in that movie.
What's your name? Where do you live?
Bet you didn't know that one, did you? As always, don't forget to like this video, share and subscribe to the channel, and keep those eyes red, baby. See ya.
And then they eat the poo-poo.